Let's clarify one issue. No one anticipated that this would actually occur. Not Jay Z, not Beyoncé, and not even the man who fought for it for years, Rymir Satwait. But here we are. What no tabloid story or diss tune could possibly do, a courtroom just did. Shattered the golden kingdom of the Carters. Half the court recently gave Rymir, the man claiming to be Jay Z's son, that much of his wealth. Furthermore, this was not a symbolic act. This actually happened. Real enough to rock Beyoncé's financial world as well as Jay Z's business investment empire. Insiders claim that Beyoncé is disintegrating behind closed doors. Not with the poisonous glitz we've seen on red carpets, but with genuine grief, tears, and the annoyance that arises when everything you've worked so hard to achieve begins to fall apart. To be clear, this is more than simply her husband's history coming back to haunt him. It concerns the Carter brand as a whole. An empire built on real estate, fashion, music, and billion-dollar transactions is currently coming apart due to long-buried mysteries about Jay Z's history. What makes it worse is this. This has nothing to do with dishonesty or a short-lived PR disaster. On paper, this is definitive and lawful. After considering the evidence, a court determined that Jay Z owed Rymir a portion of the money, nor backdoor settlements, nor hush money. Half of everything, including anything that has Beyoncé's name on it. Consider it for a moment. Even if Beyoncé decided to split up, the residences, joint ventures, tours, and library royalties would all be so intricately entwined that it would be an enormous financial headache to untangle. It starts to become pretty dark at this point. Because although Beyoncé is known across the globe as the queen of measured elegance and never allows a single crack to appear in public, those closest to her claim that she feels utterly caught, off guard, and trapped. This is more than simply an affairs ghost. This child belongs to someone else. She didn't sign up for this, now that she had legal authority over her family's fortune. Additionally, based on the whispers, she could be prepared to go. Divorce rumors are no longer only fluff for gossip columns. People who genuinely know her are floating them, counselors, business associates, and legal teams. She has already started to separate her funds and establish boundaries around Ivy Park, Parkwood Entertainment, and everything she created by hand. She isn't acting spitefully. She is doing this in order to live, because this is the unadulterated reality. Beyoncé may have feelings for Jay Z. She could have had a lot of forgiveness for him. That was brutally evident from Lemonade. However, love doesn't cover legal costs. And when the government starts dividing up joint assets, love most surely won't keep you from losing your heritage. For someone like Beyoncé, whose reputation is crucial, this is a brand crisis rather than merely a relationship problem. Remember that this court ruling opens the door wide. Rymir might not be alone. Old statements that were previously disregarded now look a little more credible, along with names and murmurs. Jay Z has even been accused of buying silence from others in the past. This is more than simply a family drama if additional people come forward and if even one more accusation is confirmed. It turns into a complete dismantling of the Carter legacy. Furthermore, Beyoncé appears to be standing on a battlefield that she never consented to engage in at this time. Observing the beginning of the fall of the empire she helped create, Jay Z is dealing with more than just legal issues. In real time, he is witnessing the meticulously constructed myth of his life unravel. He positioned himself as the quintessential success tale for decades. The streetwise hustler who became a multi-billionaire, untouchable in both culture and business. Title of Iraq, Armandanda Brignac. Every agreement and collaboration was designed to demonstrate dominance and heritage. However, this court decision revealed something more profound. That control was never as strong as it appeared. At this point, the empire is trembling as power is being taken away from him piece by piece. This goes beyond simply losing money. It has to do with reputational damage. Business associates dislike controversy. They dislike unpredictability. And they most certainly dislike being connected to legal actions involving covert partnerships and secret children. There are rumors that some of Jay Z's long-standing partners are already turning against him. We're pausing deals. Boardroom tensions are high. Questions are being raised by investors. No matter how many Grammys a legend has won, no one wants to be associated with someone who is in decline. Furthermore, there is the additional burden of fresh accusations that are unrelated to Ree. Jay Z was recently added to a civil assault action involving another prominent member of the business. The tale is gloomy and disturbing, and the type of headline that undermines confidence in business boardrooms. People are alarmed by the relationship alone, regardless of its legality. The Carter brand is already being shaken by Rymir's triumph. So this latest news seems like fuel on a fire. Beyoncé is quietly and meticulously managing damage control behind the scenes in the meanwhile. According to insiders, she has met with financial and legal strategists, restructured assets, and erected barriers to safeguard her businesses. This type of strategic planning is done when you anticipate that the storm will worsen rather than improve. She is strengthening control over her music rights, defending Parkwood Entertainment, and defending Ivy Park. She doesn't intend to let Jay Z's troubles affect her business. Before the courts decide for her, she has drawn the line. All of this raises an unavoidable query. Is there a split underway already? Because it's rarely simply about money when you transfer funds in this way. It's about freedom, independence, and making sure you're not standing in the wreckage with someone else's and legal threats. The courts eventually caught up with him, despite the general belief that he would always be one step ahead. Furthermore, neither heritage nor renown had a role in the decision to give someone such a large portion of the pie. It was predicated on a failure to act, recognize, or reply. In this instance, his silence cost him everything. The internet is humming right now. Supporters are divided. Some others stand up for Jay Z, claiming that this is all a legal overreach or misunderstanding. Others are pointing fingers, saying that this is the time when the truth finally came to light and blaming it on karma. Furthermore, the true drama is taking place behind the scenes as arguments flare on social media. Lawyers creating comprehensive exit strategies, accountants going through decades' worth of financial records, and an empire that was once thought to be unbreakable starting to fall apart at every corner. The story is about more than simply a woman's heartache or a man's purported son. It has to do with power, how it's acquired, how it's lost, and what occurs when even the most recognizable cultural icons must confront the fallout from their history. Jay Z has always claimed to be a businessman. But now that his company is being investigated, no amount of branding can protect him from the facts shown in court filings. Beyoncé has always been adept at moving quietly. It contributed to her notoriety. She crafts her image like a premium brand, while others want drama and headlines, polished, in control, and impenetrable. Silence, however, might not be an option this time. Jay Z's world wasn't the only one rocked by the court decision. Whether she wanted it or not, it thrust her into the public eye. Her name appears in several accounts. Documents from the firm have her signature. Every square inch of the empire that is currently being examined in court documents has her face attached to it. Additionally, time is running out. The difficult questions are starting to be asked by fans. To what extent was she aware? How long? Was she caught off guard like everyone else? Or did she anticipate this and choose to endure it quietly? The conjecture is unkind. She stayed, according to some, for the brand's benefit. Others believe she spent years organizing her departure. She no longer has control over the perception, regardless of the reality. The murmurs continue behind the scenes. Industry insiders claim that she has already transferred important assets to her own company. Music catalogs were reevaluated, property titles were changed, and touring agreements were reorganized. Seeing someone cover their crown jewels with velvet and store them away before the house burns down is like that. She isn't tweeting or yelling, she's getting ready. Then there is the emotional burden. Beyoncé is more than just a mogul. She is a mother, a wife, and a woman who has previously survived public betrayal. She turned it into lemonade. Literally transformed suffering into a moment of culture. However, she is unable to turn this into a metaphor. This is a judicial battle, with legacy-level consequences. Furthermore, the treachery affects not just Jay Z's heart, but also her future, her children's future, asterisk. And her reputation, if she does really have other children, whether they are actual or suspected. The worst part is that it might not be finished yet. Already, Rym's victory is giving others more confidence. There are rumors that Letitia, a different lady who previously claimed to be Jay Z's daughter, may come forward once more. Her accusations had never before been given much weight, but in the current environment and with this precedent, one judge just needs to pay attention. Furthermore, if she receives even a small portion of the exposure that Rymir recently received, it might lead to a barrage of accusations that destroys the remaining Carter brand. This is a nightmarish situation for Jay Z. Now, every dollar he ever moved covertly may be monitored, recorded, and perhaps made public. Backdoor hush agreements and covert settlements. It may all surface if there is any of it. Court discovery does not favor one party over another. Additionally, business associates are already changing their minds. Luxury brands, platforms, and agencies are all keeping a careful eye on this. Nobody wants their name associated with a billionaire stakes. Bloodline controversy. There was always more to the kingdom they created together than just music. Real estate, fashion, technology, sports, and streaming were all involved. It was a dynasty of influence and power. And it now appears that the dynasty is disintegrating from the inside out. Beyoncé's departure means more than simply a divorce. She is announcing that she will not sink with the ship. The next 10 years of celebrity culture may be determined by what transpires next. The world pays attention when she talks. The industry will follow her if she takes action. Everyone is watching her. Not as one half of a power couple or as Jay Z's wife, but as a woman deciding whether to preserve her legacy or hold on to something that may already be gone. Even if the Queen doesn't say much, her actions might change the definition of what it means to be obedient, strong, and